I think we actually went live without a hiccup. We'll see how long that lasts. Hello, everyone. And welcome back to the Symphony. Good sound. Thank you so much, Bucho. We at Symphony took the entire month of April off to take some rest and some self-care. And we're back. And we're doing at least one of my personal favorite things, which is hyping the community of creators. But first, what is Symphony? Well, Symphony Entertainment Gaming and Arts is my gaming company that focuses on horror systems, indie games, organic content, and player agency in an attempt to bring a symphonic approach to horror role-playing. I am your host, Bridget Jeffries, and tonight, actually this afternoon, at least for us in the States, might be morning for Perry, I will also be serving as your keeper of arcane lore. For the entire month of May, we are hosting Miskatonic May, a symphonic celebration of Miskatonic repository content. What is the Miskatonic repository? Well, the repository is an official online collection of user-made content allowing creators like me, like you, to write, publish, and sell your original 7th edition Call of Cthulhu material. Creators can make money from their published community content, or they can make it freely available or pay what you want. It's entirely up to the creator. This is something that Chaosium has allowed creators to do that has been really game-changing for a lot of people who have wanted to step out and be published. So if you have questions regarding the program, how to publish, how to get support, compliance, or whatever, email me at bridget@chaosium.com. That's a bridge that you walk across with 2 T's at chaosium.com, and I'll get you plugged in. There are so many amazing communities, like Symphony, but some of them are so much better, that have invested the time, energy, and dedication to supporting other Miskatonic repository creators. So there are communities such as the Stars Are Right podcast, which still has the dopest opening of all time, the Miskatonic Playhouse podcast, that all they do is interview industry leaders to help you or run and play your content on their podcast. The Council of Shoggoths, which are the organizing body of Miskatonic Repository Con, that host an annual convention where, yeah, you guessed it, you get to run and play Miskatonic Repository scenarios, even down to the chair of that aforementioned organization, Heinrich Moore, that has a YouTube channel that can help you with writing, coaching, marketing, and more. So definitely feel free to reach out. I will get you plugged into all of these amazing communities. But for tonight, we will be playing Sorrow in Tsavo. This was written by myself. This is my first publication on the Miskatonic repository. You can find Sorrow in Tsavo in PDF or softcover right now at DriveThruRPG. Now, before we get into the game, 2 quick announcements, and I think I'm going to slip a third one in there. Symphony Entertainment does have a Patreon. So if you like this content and you would like to help us make more of it, please consider backing us on Patreon. You can check that out at patreon.com/Symphony Entertainment. Tiers are fleshed out with everything from behind the scenes content, free book products, postcards, really hysterical games about how bad I am with technology that Bucho created, the Symphony Entertainment Pettyville Bingo game. Talkbacks and more. So again, you can view those at patreon.com/Symphony Entertainment. We are also hosting a giveaway. I will be giving away a free PDF and softcover to one person at the end of the game. At the end of the stream. So if you would like to enter, your code is going to be BANG Tsavo. That is exclamation point Tsavo for a chance to enter. You do have to be a follower of the channel to get entered to win. And then if you can't stay for the whole stream, like check your Twitch messages, I'll allegedly try to reach out to you there. Third announcement, my face is falling off right now because all of Ohio mowed their grass 2 days ago. So allergies are a nightmare. So I've already notified the cast. They're going to carry me. You guys just love me through it because I'm going to be like drippy and blowing my nose. And like even right now, I'm barely keeping it together. So we're good. We got this. Chat got us. Cast got me. It's amazing. So without further ado, let us unveil this cast. Cast members, please introduce yourselves. Tell us who you are, where people can find you, some of the things that you do, and just now, the name and occupation of your investigator. Nothing else. We'll cover that here in a second. So Matthew, please start us off, baby.
Yeah, hello, I'm Matthew Orr, and I've already forgotten what you told me to do, so I'm going to skip right to my investigator is Lieutenant Colonel John Patterson, who is an engineer here to build a bridge.
Yes!
Yeah, I think that's the important stuff.
That's the important stuff. Amazing. Now, I'm just going to tease you up a little bit because I'm a big fan of wedding games and everything that you guys do over there. I write for you guys all the time. Like, tell us a little bit about that production company, if you're okay with it.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, Wet Ink Games is yeah. I co-own Wet Ink Games. We're tiny or indie RPGs. We make horror games. We make family-friendly games. We're hoping to expand into card games, board games, that kind of stuff. So we're trying to bring our whole Wet Ink. It's trying to bring the ideas are so fresh. The ink is still wet. That's kind of our like our
Bow!
thing. So we love working with creators and really spotlighting creators like Bridget and artists. We love buying art from people and putting it on the covers, and the covers of our books hopefully get you to pick up the book, and that's half the work of selling you the game. So very briefly, that's what we are and what we do.
No, that's amazing. I love some wedding games. One, I live for the art in wedding games. The way I don't even understand how y'all do it half the time. It's absolutely incredible. But
we hire really good artists. It's real simple.
Yes. Oh my God. Paying people. It's a miracle. Someone gets that concept. Thank you so much. Okay. Kicking it over to Will. Tell us who you are, some of the things that you do, where people can find you, and of course, just the name and occupation of your investigator.
Hi, friends. Yeah, thank you, Bridget. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Will. It's my first time being on Symphony Entertainment, so I'm so
Hey!
excited to be here. Where you can find me, you can't really,
Ooh,
because
yes.
when I'm not here, I'm very busy. I work at a bank, and I'm a grad student at the same time, and I'm planning a wedding. So there's just uh, there's no time for me to really be other places right now, except for on the one-off chances that Bridget lets me join the cacophony over here. So very, very excited to be doing this. I'm playing Dr. Gwendolyn Chase. She is the camp doctor here. So very, very excited.
Amazing. Will, you already know how much I love your face, but with everything going on, plus a wedding planning, the fact that you took the time to be here, I sincerely appreciate it. Thank you. Genuinely.
Anything
Thank
for
you.
you. Yeah.
It's going to be such a good game, guys. All right, kicking it down to Sue. Hit us, baby.
Hi, my name's Sue Savage. You can find me in a lot of places on the internet under the name Savage Spiel. I have a blog where I share my thoughts on the many tabletop conventions I go to. So if you're in the UK and you go to tabletop conventions, you can probably run into me at one of those. Also write a lot of scenarios, mostly for the game Liminal. And I think there's a thing going up the chat that will tell you where to find those.
Yep.
I have my own game, Matrons of Mystery, which is a British cozy mystery game. And in this game, I will be playing Irene Beckett, who is a big game huntress.
Yes! Definitely check out Matrons, guys. And if you haven't heard of that game and you like a quick blurb on it, Graham Walmsley and the other co-hosts of the Miskatonic University podcast completely swarmed it a couple episodes ago. So if you want to just like, I wonder what that's about and what people are saying about it, definitely dip your toes into that episode because we love some Sue over there. And last but totally not least, Leather Daddy. I'm so sorry, Perry.
Yes, I'm the leather daddy here. I'm Perry Clark, a licensed marriage and family therapist. So most of the time, I'm usually at my practice working with people's mental health. I also have my podcast, Untying Knots, Minds and Souls Untethered, which Bridget has been a guest on, talking about mental health as well as the intersections of multiple different areas of life, including gaming. And I'm going to go ahead and pitch this one for because it's happening later this month. Those of you who are going to KublaiCon here in the Bay,
Hey.
I am a member of the Knights of the Fourth Wall, and we will be running our mega dungeon, the Forever Veil, on Memorial Day weekend. So if you can get into the game, please come. I got a couple of tables that I'd love to throw some horror at you.
Amazing.
And I am playing Zadwe, who is the captain of the police as well as the camp liaison.
Love it, love it, love it. Cast, I love you guys. Thank you. I'll see you on the other side. Content warnings have been discussed with the cast and crew. The X card is in play. X's can be sent via private message, which I'm not going to see, so the channel is going to have to let me know about it. Or you can do it visibly where I can see it. No judgment is passed. No questions are asked. We will also be using the green, yellow, red traffic light method, which I know Doc is a big fan of. You can check out that cult game. Last FYI, For Miskatonic May, we will also be using the Bouts of Madness deck. This is a supplement from the Miskatonic repository. After these creators put it out is when I realized that you could put a deck of cards on the Miskatonic repository. Great ambassador I am, right? So anyways, we will be using this particular product because it is gorgeous, it is fun, and I will have a link in the Twitch channel where you can pick those up for yourselves off of the Miskatonic repository on DriveThruRPG. So let's get this party started while I read this obnoxiously ass long introduction that I overwrote when I wrote this game X amount of years ago. The year is 1898, a period known as Scramble for Africa. This is the occupation, division, and colonization of African territories by European powers during the period of late imperialism. Tsavo is translated to a place of slaughter. This is a region in Kenya in Eastern Africa. It is located at the crossing of the Uganda Railway over the Tsavo River. Tsavo is constantly crossed by caravans of Arab slavers and their captives. You all are under the commission of the Ugandan Railway Committee in London to build a bridge over said Tsavo River. This is a government appointed installation. The project should take about 9 months, but Patterson, you were given 6 months to complete it. The pressure is on. Unfortunately, your backs are not only against the wall of time, but against disease outbreaks, religious conflicts, and some issues with the local wildlife. Now, the camp that you guys manage is currently composed of both Indian laborers who were brought in by train, and they are assisted by a local group of Kenyans. Now, the Indians are Hindu and often squabble with the Kenyan Muslims about absolutely anything possible, because when you get a bunch of people with varying ideas in the heat during these type of political times, it can get very, 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 very tense. The one thing these two groups have in common, neither of them appreciate white European intrusion into African lands. So that's something you guys are all battling with as well. Thankfully, the committee did institute a uniform police department, Zawadi, to help assist with the law and order. You guys are in the first 60 days of construction, and 2 lions have caused the death of over 70 of your crewmen. 70. The locals are using the Swahili word for lion, Simbas. And they have given the Simbas the nickname of the ghost and the darkness. That's because these lions are creeping into your camp at night, snatching unsuspecting and sleeping construction workers from their tents and running off with them into the field. Some of the bodies that you guys have found were mutilated beyond recognition. The silhouette of these lions have been spotted dashing through the brush. Paw prints have been seen all over the site. However, no one has actually seen the lions. At least they haven't seen them and survived. You guys have tried all type of different efforts, from fencing made of whistling thorn, lighting fire, setting traps, and all efforts have been for naught. Panic is settling in, and your project is risking abandonment. Over 1,000 railway workers already left. They deserted the project by train. You guys are left with just 300 people. You guys are responsible for remedying this situation and completing the bridge. Lieutenant Colonel Patterson hosts a daily morning meeting with you all to discuss progress on the bridge and any other concerns. There is a newcomer that will be joining us for the first time today, a Miss Irene Beckett, a famed big game huntress that's been sent in by the community to help, or sent in by the committee in London to help. As you guys are gathered in a tent, each of you feel the unrest bubbling outside. The ringing sound of steel is sadly absent. As you enter into the tent or you peek out, there are several groups of crewmen that are huddled together, conversing conspiratorially. They're looking at your tent with resentment. They're looking to each other in fear. Even the shouting and the barking that usually happens between the crewmen isn't happening. There's a shift in the temperature on your camp right now. And it's on you guys to do something. So, starting with Patterson. I'm going to go Patterson, Chase, Irene, and Nzwadi. I just need you to tell us what you look like and what your demeanor is right now before this meeting starts. This is either you already in the tent, walking to the tent. This is your introduction scene. That's just a quick spotlight where we can get a visual on who your character is.
Yeah, so I think Patterson he's I mean, he's a military man. He's a bit of a military man, a bit of an engineer, not given to emotional displays, especially given this time and the sense that he's here on an assignment. And I think if he's very stressed, obviously, about the work, about the workers being at each other at loggerheads, and of course now this problem with, like, lions are the last thing we need, in addition to all the, like, just mundane problems that we have of transportation and like the physical work of building the bridge. And so, but he's got to keep all of that sort of like in the background, because like he's in charge of this camp. And if like he's freaking out, then everybody's going to freak out. So he's got to be like, look, all this is just another problem we got to solve. We just need to figure it out. So he's kind of, I've imagined, walking maybe a little bit more briskly, keeping his hands tight behind his back, ready to start the meeting, pulling his jacket tight. He wants to present the best face that he can. But he's little steamy, a little bubbling under the surface.
That was an absolutely gorgeous rollout, Matt. Thank you. Kicking it over to Dr. Chase. Give us her introduction.
Yes. So Gwendolyn Chase is more put together than you would expect in the middle of Africa. Obviously not where she's from. She doesn't know this area, but she's been here long enough that now she has a routine. She gets up far too early to make sure that her clothes are pressed and that everything looks correct. Aesthetics matter, and she wants everyone to know that she is an authority person who still has the resources to maintain authority. So as a person who's also in charge of all of the medicine and in charge of making sure that people are healthy, as reality crumbles around her and people become more endangered, she overcompensates by making sure that her hair is never astray, and even though it's very hot, the makeup is not running, and she wants everyone to know that she still has things under control, and she shows that physically by making sure that everyone sees what they would expect of a proper medical doctor, from England.
Oh.
Also sitting sitting in her chair very upright, more so than normal, as if she has to think about it to make sure that she's exuding what she wants to be and not what is natural to her in this moment.
Well, you have no idea how excited I am about the chance to rattle this character. Oh, that description just got me excited. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, dropping down to Irene. Hit us, baby. What's your intro?
So Irene, I'd say, is very much the opposite of Gwendolyn here. Yeah, she's in her 40s. She looks weather beaten. It's obvious she does not act like the typical woman of this era. She spends a lot of time in the outdoors, and it's showing on her face. Clothes are quite worn, a bit dusty. She wears a large, rather beaten up hat.
Beautiful.
Her overall attitude, and she's coming in, it's very obvious she thinks very highly of herself. Doesn't come across particularly friendly. But then that's not something she's ever worried about.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. Close us out, Perry. Talk to us about, and how are you pronouncing that character's name so I can match it?
I've been saying Zodwe.
Zogwe. Love it.
Zodwe is Kenyan, dark-skinned, probably about 5'10", and a fairly athletic build. As you see him walking towards the tent, he is in his uniform that has been required of him by this position as captain of the police. And when normally he is very much on this, ready to be on the stage, but at the moment you see him sort of head down looking at his notebook, he's rechecking figures. And as he is so focused on that, you start to notice how he starts pulling at the collar and at the uniform, because it's not designed for this place. It's not designed for this heat. It is uncomfortable. But normally when he's on, he would not let anyone see that. But he's concerned as he is rechecking the numbers that he's doing. He's sort of walking with his head down towards the tent. And as he gets closer to it, he just sort of stops, looks at the numbers, puts it in his pocket, and then begins the process of straightening himself up before he steps in to deal with the colonel.
Beautiful job, guys. You have me super excited, and chat is losing their mind over these introductions right now. So I'm going to step out of the game because this is no longer my story. And I'm going to turn the floor over to Lieutenant Colonel John Patterson.
Good morning, folks. I think welcome. Thank you. I think we're going to keep this pretty short. I think we all know what the most important thing to discuss is. Obviously, the bridge work must continue, but we've got a lot of problems to solve. We cannot have this these constant infestations taking away our workers. We'll never get the project done on time that way. So talk to me. That's my priority. I want to return to work, but this is the number one problem is to solve the problem of the loss of life here of the workers. So tell me what we need to do to get to that point, all of you. And I would like I just call your attention to Irene Beckett is here, sit down from the committee. I think she's going to be a major part of this. But let me know from each of you what other things do we need to get on the docket for today's assignments.
What shall I start off then?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
It seems immediately obvious to me that what we need to do is construct a new hospital, evacuate the current one immediately. I could smell the rotting flesh the moment I arrived. It's obvious that that's attracting the lions.
I'm sorry. Are you insinuating that the way that the hospital... Who are you?
I'm sure my introduction was quite clear. Irene Beckett, big game huntress.
And so you're an expert then on hospitals and how to build them and the infrastructure that would be needed for that sort of thing.
I'm an expert on the kind of thing that attracts lions. And currently your hospital is attracting lions.
I see.
This is clearly a contributing factor. Gwendolyn, what... the logistics of the problem are something we can continue to discuss. But what other concerns do you have?
Well, I'm sorry. That was probably strong. I appreciate and I would love a new hospital. So I'm more than welcome to the idea of that. But I don't know that we have those resources, to be completely honest. I've been doing the very best that I can. But I think there's a larger problem here, which is not the lions at all. And I think that what we really need to be discussing is the mosquitoes. I mean, just this morning, I've had, 7, 8 cases of malaria? I can solve a lion bite. I can't solve a mosquito bite. I don't have the resources. And that's a problem that we can solve today, as opposed to building an entire hospital.
And what solving them... surely there are more mosquitoes than there are lions. Please elaborate.
Well, yes, but it's much easier to kill a mosquito than it is to kill a lion. I'm sure you know that.
And what is your proposal that we... I mean, we can't just go out and slap every worker's arms all day long. What
well, surely,
is there new science involved? What enlighten us?
Yes, of course. I'm sorry. So malaria is an illness, right? And it comes from a parasite that comes from within mosquitoes. I'm sure you know all of this already. But in the event that you don't, let me just say that mosquitoes are what is causing this. And mosquitoes have nesting grounds, right? My understanding is that they try and find wet locations. And so if we're able to find where the mosquitoes are nesting, get rid of the nest, we get rid of the malaria that's actually killing as many, if not more people, probably than your lions.
Absolutely true. Malaria has been a problem. There are we are on a river. There are quite a few wet places around. Is it would is this a two birds with one stone type situation? Moving hospital to some other non-wet location? Is that even possible?
I I mean, I don't believe that the hospital is the location where the mosquitoes are.
True, true.
And then just
Bridget,
jumping in really fast. You and I are like right here, Will. Did you see that? That was magical. Yeah, so Lieutenant Colonel John Patterson is correct. You're around a massive water source, but that's a massive water source, but that's moving water. Mosquitoes aren't going to nest on actively moving water, especially at that speed. Whatever you're looking for is going to be some type of pocket of standing putrid water somewhere on the camp. It's not going to be near the river. It's not going to be where it's a lot of moving water. It's going to be somewhere where these things can tuck in the darkness and sit and basically just fester and infest some type of pool of standing water.
Do we happen to have any idea of like multiple locations, Bridget, that could be in this area? Like, obviously, probably closer to the river is safe, right? Because that's where the moving water is. But in terms of like, I'm sure you have a map to show us at some point.
Oh, no, I definitely got a map for you. And I love the questions that you're already asking right now. So what I need from you, Dr. Chase, and then also from Zwati is an idea check. So you just roll over to roll dice with friends, roll a D100, and you're trying to roll under your intelligence score. Jesus. All right. Dr. Chase, did you pass or succeed? Or did you pass or fail? Is that above or below your intelligence?
Me, I'm Dr. Chase. No, unfortunately, I did not pass that check.
No worries. All right, Perry Zawadi, how did you do? Because I'm looking at the number.
I got a 7 under 50. Or yeah, under 50.
All right.
I would like to think that Patterson has respect for Swati and the organization that he brings.
Mm-hmm.
So I bet I can tell that he knows something. So definitely, I would like. Swati, have you any ideas to contribute? What is your? You seem to know something about this situation. It's on your face, my good sir. What do you have to say?
And here's what's on your face, Swati. You know, especially the local Kenyans, you're not working with a lot of resources right now, and disposal is typically one of the first things that you construct, either for human waste or for like material waste. You know that the Kenyans kind of improvised a situation, and I'm going to throw up the map right now just so the world can see it and you can see it too, if I can remember what I called it. Yep. There we go.
That's the Sorrow map?
You got it, baby. That's the Sorrow and Tsavo map. So if you're looking at the Tsavo River, you go to the left to the leadership tents, you go to the left to the hospital. That unmarked area that looks like it's a trench is a trench. Mm-hmm. The Kenyans actually dug a trench that was about, 40 feet long, about 20 feet deep, almost 30 feet wide. It's a big area, and it's where they've been stashing disposable, broken gear, equipment, things that they just kind of needed out of the way with the intention to bury it later. You guys have had some abnormal rain, so your gut is telling you, beyond a shadow of a doubt, you know what? I bet it's sitting in that trench area.
And relative to where we've been finding the bodies of people?
Bodies have been outside of camp altogether.
Okay. So at which point, good day, Lieutenant Colonel, Miss Chase, Miss Beckett. The most likely place that this is probably having the standing water you're concerned with, especially after the rains, is the disposal trench. That is outside the camp near the railway. That is the only place that we have a significant place where pooling can happen.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to that end as well, now sort of he'll pull out the notebook and sort of look at it for a moment, hesitant to, how does he want to phrase this to you? I confirm the numbers that are presently in Dr. Chase's care and so forth. And as of this morning, we're sitting somewhere around 240 men. That is subtracting the quantity that is under Dr. Chase's care. There are at least 30 men that have gone missing since yesterday.
Since yesterday?
Yes, they're gone as of this in the night.
Not like taken by the lions, like left to avoid this situation, I imagine.
I do not know, sir. I was trying to focus on the count and trying to observe what I could. I don't know if Miss Irene would like to take a walk of the premises with me. I can show her where the camp are and where those went. But as on cursory examination, I could not see tracks of anyone leaving.
Very grave of face. It's a lot of complicated things here.
So many complicated things.
Well, anything else? Any other points that the three of you would like to offer? I'm beginning to form some ideas, but yes, any final points?
I would like to bring up the subject of burial practices.
Please.
I'm quite sure that that's connected to the terrible smell of rot. How are bodies being disposed of here? I understand there's also something of a cattle plague, so there will be doubtless dead cows littering the place.
I don't have an answer to this question.
Neither does Bridget. I'm okay with throwing it up to the table or even to the doctor. How are you disposing of dead bodies? Or Zawadi?
So those that are of my lands, we are fulfilling the traditional practices as much as we can, depending on what region of Kenya they are from, most of which are being either buried under stone mounds or in the ground, or there have been funeral pyres. I believe also the Indian members have been also performing the aspect of burning the dead.
Funeral pyres should not cause any lion-related problems, so it seems more likely that the dead cattle are the issue here. We will have to ensure that they are properly disposed of.
All right. I feel like if it's to me to assign to work through the situation, Swadway, I am very much in favor of you and Irene patrolling the perimeter. As you said, you can search for these. You can check on the cattle situation as you proposed, Irene. You can also use your skills to find some tracks to confirm your suspicions. Whether the lions are coming to the hospital or to any cattle improperly buried that you may find. You can make a wider search and inquiry, Swadway, for your compatriots who may have left. Take the necessary folk with you to make this perimeter search as you suggested. I support it. Gwendolyn and we can go down to this trash pit and the disposal trench, as you describe it, and see if that's the source of your infestation. Gwendolyn? I think that's...
All right. Do we have a way of disposing of these things? Should we find them?
Well, I think this is an exploratory mission to confirm whether or not this is the sort of problem that you foresee it to be.
All right. I assume that I have. I'm going to make an assumption, Bridget. We're going to. Might we stop at the hospital first to just gather some supplies?
I think they're in the same direction. Shouldn't be too much of a problem.
Excellent. If nothing else, we might have mosquito nets that we can wrap around ourselves.
And Dr. Chase, just to tee you up, because I swear you and I share the same brain. Dr. Chase feels confident that the following measures will at least protect you and any other members that attempt to check out this trench. Long sleeve clothing, a minimal amount of pesticides would also work, or modified makeshift masks. Those three things should, for the most part, give you a first line of defense if you're going into that trench area. And those are all things that you have at your hospital. They're not in great supply, but those are things that you have at the hospital.
I will just look at the lieutenant. Is
Lieutenant
is
Colonel,
that what you...
excuse me.
I do beg your pardon. It's been... You're right. Lieutenant Colonel, is that what you're wearing?
I'm wearing my regulation outfit. If there's additional precautions that you suggest, I'm willing to comport myself properly.
I'll see what I can do. um, to the hospital?
I think so. That's for us. The other two, Irene, Swadway, do you have any other points? Meeting adjourned.
And in pairs, you guys separate from the tents, going in similar directions with very different directives. The camp has a spirit, a mood, an attitude about it right now. People are afraid. There are pockets of groups that are intermingling, whispering conspiratorially. The bridge isn't currently being worked on. It should have started 2 hours ago, but it's not. You can watch, you can feel the energy of this entire camp. And it's one of those things like, yeah, the Lions may be responsible for over 70 deaths, but in this moment, you four feel afraid because this camp could go either way. And if it goes the wrong way, it's going to be you guys that are going to take the fall on it first. So I am going to start with Zwade and Irene. You all are heading on basically, if I'm hearing correctly, like a perimeter sweep of the camp leading towards where those workers vanished, right?
Yeah.
I think we're heading towards the general tents and any conversation we want to have along the way. But I can show you where would you like to begin, at the tents or around the perimeter of the camp. It is split accordingly: Indian to this side, Kenyan to this side.
Well, I'm quite willing to take your advice on this one. You know the place better than I do.
I admit, and I sort of look back in the direction of the where the colonel and Miss Chase are walking by. I admit that I was focused on trying to get the count more than I was looking at in depth of where they were. We may start at one of the tents and see what we can see there for their tracks, which may intersect with the hunt for the lions.
Well, at least someone in this camp has their head screwed on right. Yes, let's take a look, see what footprints we can find. I've already seen lion prints in this place.
Very well, and lead her towards one of the camp area. I'll start with the Indian section.
Okay.
And one of the camps, one of the tents sections of tents that I know is gone empty.
Okay. You have this very brief discussion. The sun is beating down, sweat is pouring from both of you, and it's still morning. It's not even 9:30 yet. Damn this African heat. And you turn to make a beeline, Zwadi, towards the Indian portion, and you make that turn, and both of you see it. There is a group of 8 Kenyan workers who are carrying their shovels and their picks, and they are walking directly towards you. Now, Zwadi, you know these individuals. You know them well. They are of you. They don't look intent on violence, but there's some major intentionality as these 8 individuals are walking towards you. And as they are very speedily heading towards you, looking over their shoulders, talking to each other, you're able to pick up that they are making comments back and forth to each other, like the ghost. No, it's the ghost in the darkness. And they're talking, and they come up to you guys really fast. I'm just really curious. What are your guys' physical impressions or reactions, if anything, as these 8 people run up on you?
Well, my response is to sort of straighten up, and at which point put a very big smile on my face and say, "How are the children this morning?" And depending on what their response and greeting, because that is the traditional, one of the traditional Kenyan greetings, to ask about how the family is and how the children are.
How about you, Irene? What's your impression to these 8 people they're technically armed, but are they armed? Or they're just carrying their tools? Why are they carrying their tools? But they're walking up on you very quickly.
I think my first assumption is they might actually be going to work, which is obviously a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
I will glance at my companion to make sure he's not reacting in a way that doesn't seem to make sense here, and then smile at them.
Okay. The 2 or the 8 of them approach, and all eyes are on you, Zwadi, but they also are very curious about this newcomer, this white woman that's in their camp, especially one that's smiling at them and is armed. And they say, they dismiss immediately your pleasantries and your greetings and your outreach as far as like asking about their family. They say, "No, come now, Zwadi, you are one of us. Tell us, what are you going to do?" And another one chimes in. It's like, "These lions, they are not lions. They are the ancestors. They are punishing us. Do you not see?" And another one chimes in. It's like, no, these lions, they are the spirit of dead medicine men. We are cursed. You must convince Patterson and the others to leave. It is the only choice. And then suddenly you've got chammering people all with their own very dedicated theories about what's happening. And they're just swarming you with these comments.
I hear you. I hear my brothers. I hear you. Yes, these are all concerns. And as they all have, and I'll sort of glance over at Irene, for some more merit than others. I want to introduce you to Miss Irene Beckett. She is a big game hunter. She is here to hunt the lions that are and I'll gesture towards ones that we're talking more, these are the more physical problems. This is the solution that Colonel Patterson and the company have brought in to address the problem.
One of the gentlemen in the back falls out laughing. It's very obvious. I mean, he's... He turns, another one hits him in the shoulder, and one of them switches languages and goes to Swahili. He's like, "This white woman? No. This is who the committee sends. They do not care about our lives. It's obvious now."
And I will respond in Swahili. "I understand, my brother. We're trying to do as much as we can. Safety, I agree that there are things that probably should be left alone. But we are here, and we all need to feed our families."
The one gentleman in the back pushes forward, the one that was laughing. He's like, "You, the huntress, tell us, what is it that you hunt, huh? Is it not a husband?" And then half of the group falls out laughing.
I'm trying to maintain a face as neutral as possible with that.
I will join in the laughter.
You join in the laughter, and that's immediately disarming to those 4 people that thought they were successfully antagonizing you.
It's far too easy hunting for husbands.
The front 2 people start laughing, and then suddenly there's this just cacophony of Swahili shade being thrown back and forth between this group. And Irene, you hunt animals for a living, but let's be honest. It's probably not the first time you've hunted people. You have at least of a baseline of temperature on how people are responding, and you have already shifted this particular group. They're not as angsty, at least with your presence. Sorry to interrupt you. You're back on you. Sorry.
And I will then add in adequate Swahili. I hope I can be of assistance.
Okay, babe. That was really dope. All right, here's what I need from you. Here's what I need from you, Irene.
Zodway's giving you a massive side eye at this point.
What? The white woman speaks Swahili? Babe, can you please roll me a Swahili check with a bonus die?
Okay. That is a 25, I think. So that would be just about a hard success.
How bad do you want it? You want to burn that luck for a hard success? Or are you okay where you are? Or is it on the nose? Is it a hard success on the nose?
It's a hard success.
We're here. I am going to surrender narrative to Sue. Sue, you're hopping into the GM seats right now because 1, no one was expecting you to drop out with Swahili. 2, you're holding your own. And 3, the passive shade is chef's kiss. Give me this encounter is resolved. Tell us what happens.
I wasn't expecting it to go quite this well, to be honest.
Neither was I.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to ask them a few questions about how things are going, get their overall impression of how the camp is, and listen to a few of their theories about the lions. And then ask if any of them can show me the prints.
Zawadi, it's almost like a Christmas miracle how easily this conversation has shifted with the big game hunters, especially with her introduction of the Swahili. They respond to you in kind, Irene, with their theories of ancestors being upset, or the spirits of bad medicine men, or this is happening because of European intrusion into African lands. And when you asked for the prince, the one that was laughing in the back, the one that originally antagonized you, which is right now you already know his wife's name and 2 of his younger kids, he says like, no, that happened on the Indian side. We didn't go, but we have heard whispers. They say 25, 30 gone in the middle of the night. There's something strange with the tents. We don't know what they are. We don't go.
Oh, thank you for the help. We'll take a look.
They look to you, Zwadi. The situation is resolved. Congratulations, Seth.
Peace be with you, brothers. Please. It will make the day go much faster if we get the work done.
They nod. They concede. They go back to arguing with themselves about what's actually causing alliance in the opposite directions. But congratulations, this situation is resolved. Per the rules as written, you guys
I will
both
gesture towards the Indian section.
Okay. You're heading towards the Indian section. Rules as written. You guys have resolved one of your encounter points from the morning meeting. You each get a bonus die to use at any point you want during the duration of the game. So mark that down on your sheets.
Nice.
Hopping over to Patterson and Dr. Chase. If I heard correctly, you guys were on your way to the hospital? Is that right?
Yes, apparently we have to make a stop first. But yeah, I think that's the next stop for us. I don't imagine Patterson has... I think he's mostly focused on the bridge side, like the getting the stuff done. He's probably... I'm trying to decide if he's been to the hospital. I don't think he's been to this refuse pit, but he's probably maybe stopped in at the hospital before, but probably not given it too much of his attention. So
okay, you have a competent person running the hospital. That makes sense.
Exactly. I don't need to, need to be here personally. But if this is where Dr. Chase wants to come first, because she thinks that's we got to go. The extra protection to go look at a cesspit, like I don't understand, but okay, let's go check it out.
Okay, you guys head towards the hospital.
You don't have to come if you don't want to. You can get eaten alive by mosquitoes, but I that's not my intent today. So,
I'm here to. This is the task we've assigned us. So, yeah, let's go.
Excellent. And then I will lead.
I guess I'm like maybe. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to follow you to the thing, but like, when we get to the hospital, I want to see because, like I said, I have not. This is not a problem that I've necessarily paid attention to before. So I'm like, doctor, show me the some of these the complications that you're talking about from the malaria. Show me what that looks like here in the hospital.
Certainly. Yes, it might be good for morale if they see you actually caring about something like this.
Good call. So as you guys approach, the
Um,
hospital is a single-story, 1,100 square feet, windowless steel frame building. It appears barely able to stand on this dilapidated and decrepit state. Mosquito netting has already been wrapped around any of the gaps to prevent their entry and further spread the disease. There is one thing that both of you guys notice as you approach the hospital today, and this just cooking heat that's always here. It's oppressive. Irene Beckett said something about the state of the hospital, the smell, and the decay. And there is a phenomena that happens to all of us, and it's called nose blindness. This is where it's a temporary but a natural occurring thing where if you get exposed to whatever stimulus it is again and again and again for long periods of time, your senses kind of just turn off to it. But as you guys are approaching this hospital and you're thinking about the things that Irene Beckett said, you catch the scent of death and decaying flesh and putrid and blood. And you're thinking to yourself, was like, how have we all missed that for so long? She's absolutely positively. And the door to the hospital, metal frame door, swings open and a young boy runs out. Young boy might be a stretch. He's about 16, 17 years old. He's a teenager. He runs out and he goes, Dr. Chase, Dr. Chase. And he stops and he looks at Lieutenant John Patterson. And he immediately leans against the side of the Lieutenant Colonel, put some respect on his title. He immediately looks to you, Lieutenant Colonel John Patterson. And he just immediately falls onto the side of the side of the hospital. You know this boy. It's Adi. He was working on the bridge about, I don't know, X amount of months ago. He had a small hairline fracture in his leg. He was sent to the hospital. And he's still healing. Allegedly, he looks fine, but then he did just kind of fall into the wall. So maybe he's not as fine. And then he looks at both of you with this really startled face, like,
Oh, this is a Champions League situation.
It's Adi. It's a cute kid.
All right. I don't know. I'm just gonna give him a kind of a as you were gesture. Go on, speak to the doctor.
Adi looks to you, Dr. Chase, with this look like, send help.
no, it's okay. Do you remember the lieutenant? I know he hasn't been around in a while, but
Yes. Hello. Good morning, Lieutenant Colonel John Patterson. Thank you for visiting the hospital today.
I'm so glad to see you standing today. I trust that the medicine is working and you're feeling a little bit better.
Yeah, yes, Dr. Chase. And he kind of perks up. He's now leaning with the shoulder. He's like, yes, the pain medicine is definitely helpful. I will be very sad when it runs out very soon.
Well, good. Make sure that you're taking things slowly. We don't want you to be re-breaking anything, trying to move too fast.
He looks relieved. And he goes, yes, ma'am. I understand. I just wanted to let you know that all the bandages have been changed for everyone. One of the malaria patients is taking a turn for the worst. I didn't know what to do. I just did what you've shown me so far. It was just the morning update. My apologies for interrupting you.
No, that's great. Can you grab me the rubbish bin really fast?
Yes, of course. He puts himself off the wall and then he limps back into the hospital.
Sorry, he'll be just a moment. Would you like to come in?
After you.
Great, and I will enter the hospital.
Okay. I'm just going to quickly tee up the hospital map, which I did in, I think, Paint back when I did this scenario so you guys can see exactly how awesome it is. Inside of the hospital, there are 2 long rows of white cots that have turned discolored from shades of brown and maroon from dried waste and blood. There are several patients currently seeking care within the hospital, most of them due to construction-related accidents. However, behind the mosquito netting, there are the 7 patients that are set up for malaria treatment, and just behind a heavy curtain is the doctor's actual space. And that's what you guys head into, and that smell wallops you straight to the face.
I think
Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say, definitely. If I've been here before, I've never smelled it like this. So,
As Addie comes back with the rubbish,
Mm-hmm.
I will instantly get sick in that pail.
Mm.
And then without missing a beat, I'll set it down and I'll just turn to Lieutenant, if you'll just excuse me, I'll only be a moment. And I will head, if you'd like to look, see the injuries, see the, just say hello. It'll go a long way. And I will step back into my office to grab some supplies.
Okay.
yeah, so I'm gonna make a little circuit here around this room. I mean, looking at the map, like this is sort of like, I mean, we just come in the front entrance, I guess. So like, yeah, I'll make
Correct.
a little circuit around. Like, I mean, I imagine that these are mostly sort of, in this area at least, the general work related injuries. Like,
Yes,
you
sir.
know, somebody's got a crushed hand because
Yep.
2 I-beams came together. Like maybe some welding wounds. Like just
Yep.
like, you know, the kind of things that are quite expected, right?
Correct.
And I don't know, it's early in the day. I don't know what kind of, I imagine there's at least a couple other attendants other than the doctor who might be doing some rounds and stuff like
No.
that. Or is
It's
it
sure
not?
not. It is just the doctor and apparently the boy with a broken leg.
The boy with the broken leg is doing it. So this is clearly undersupplied.
Yes.
But you know, it's not, I don't write all the checks. So it's not really, I can write as many letters about like undersupplied stuff, but like it's not exactly you know, that, like I said, I can only accept what comes in on the train
Yep.
from the central offices. But yeah, so I'll go around and like if there's anyone who's like asleep, I won't disturb them. They need the rest. Got to get these workers back on the job. If there's anybody who is conscious, I'll, you know, say hello, good morning. I'm gonna be, I think he's reserved. I think that like hands behind the back, like pin, he's holding his hands, but like he kind of like it. If he was in, I'm almost imagining as like his nervous tick, right? Where it's like
Yeah.
if they were in front of him, he'd be wringing his hands, but if he puts them behind his back and holds them tight, you won't see that. So I imagine it also keeps him from like, it's like he thinks of it as like a respect thing. Like, I don't know your people's rules. So like if I just don't touch you, then like I can't do it wrong. But then it also is like comes across as like that sort of like distance, right? Like he's not gonna put
Yeah, is
any
that
like
cold? Yeah.
yeah. I was like he's trying not to mess up, but it's coming across the wrong way. And yeah, so like he'll say, and he's got apparently I'm checking my character sheet here. He's got a little bit of Swahili, so he might, and some Hindi, so he'll probably you know, say some general hellos to these people as he makes like a circuit around the room. And then he has to be shown the malaria situation, which I don't see any malaria in this room. So I guess I'm trying to decide if he's gonna like, I guess the mosquito netting can't be that thick, so he's going to see that there are other patients on the other side of the mosquito netting. And if Gwendolyn hasn't come back by the time he goes once around this room, he's going to go through that netting and see the stuff that he asked to see as far as that goes. So
I love it. I love it. So you get a couple chirps back where people are,
yeah.
One, the people that are here are very surprised to see you in this hospital. It's not like you make an effort to come here all the time. So
no.
there's
too much to do elsewhere.
Right. So there's some mild resentment that you catch from a couple people that when you say hello to them, either in Swahili or Hindi, there's no response. There's just a glare back at you. They're obviously blaming you for a lot of things that are out of both of your controls. There are some that speak back to you, almost in a timid, like, he's speaking to me. Hi, that energy. And you have like the one or two that are genuine, like, hey, can you give us some updates on what's happening on the project? So you're getting a mixed bag as you're moving around the room. Dr. Chase, you have gone back to your office, and it doesn't take long before slump, drag, slide, slump, drag, slide, slump, drag, slide. You can hear Addie very quickly dragging, limping, whatever bullshit he's putting on today to get back there with you.
Addie, you seem to have taken a turn for the worse in the last 5 minutes here.
I'm sorry, I did not know that you were bringing him with you. Are you okay?
That's all right. I didn't know I was bringing him with me either. I'm fine. We're going to have to take a little bit of an excursion here, so it's likely that I won't be around today. Do you think you'll be able to take care of everyone yourself?
No, but I'll do my best, I promise.
I appreciate it. Do you still have that small key to my desk? I just need in for a moment.
Yes. Then, off of like, a shoelace, a bootlace, he unties it and he hands it to you.
You really are the best. Did you know that?
Thank you for letting me work here.
Thank you for working here. All right. You have a good day, all right?
Okay. Please be safe.
Is there anything else? Oh, well, can we ever be safe here?
And he just gets really grim for a second. This is a typical upbeat, enthusiastic kid. He gets really grim here because no, you can't ever actually be safe here.
No. But we can be happy, right? Give me just 1 second, and I will use that key to open my desk.
Okay.
And there are this is where I keep all of the things from home that are precious to me. There are like little lollipops in here, and I will get him one of those. I will notice that there are probably 2 or 3 missing from the number in my last inventory, but I won't say anything.
Candy is a delectable out here. I don't know what you want from him.
Yeah, it's a small price to pay for him to guard the other treasures in this. So what I will do in there is, having smelled this for the very first time, I will take out a small perfume bottle that I save for like very special occasions when I have to be in public and seen outside of my doctor duties. I will take a handkerchief and I will like make a makeshift mask with that.
Yep.
That I will then spray with that so that that's what I'm smelling instead of this stench. And I will claim that that is a mask. How effective it is against mosquitoes. If nothing else, it helps the smell.
It helps the smell.
And then is there also like additional mosquito net that we can like fashion into like little cute poncho kind of things?
Yep. No issues whatsoever.
Start doing that.
Yep.
Okay.
No issues whatsoever. You're able to get that wrapped out, sorted. You've got a small bit of like organic pesticides that Adi has actually shown you that his people make. So you can get all of that sorted up. You guys can get geared up. You guys are going to be rocking and rolling to head to the trench.
Great. When I make it, I'm going to make mine like tailor fit to my body because I'm cute and I know it. And I'm very purposely going to make the lieutenant colonels like a little bit misshapen and like too large and frumpy. But at least he'll have something. So
the shade in this damn game has been so good. All right. Lieutenant Colonel John Patterson and Dr. Gwendolyn Chase, before I hop over to the other pair, am I okay to just kind of roll you guys directly to the trench?
Sure. Yes, I did just want to show you, and I'll just talk through malaria and what is happening to these like 6 people. I don't know it. Bridget, I'm sorry, I should have done more research about like what malaria actually does to people untreated or in like various states. I assume that there's like chills and shivers and fever and all of those things, but there's probably worse stuff too.
Listen, I've got you. At least the scenario got you. Malaria is a mosquito-borne disease caused by a parasite. It typically presents with shivering, chills, and follows with a high fever and excessive sweating. Malaria compromises the immune system and can cause seizures, coma, and even death.
So this might be part of why people, speculate that these lions are more than lions. If they're sick, they see what they want to see.
Yeah. That uh I think I just I'm like nodding, like, okay, all right, I see it. Yeah, that makes sense. It's good theory. Don't really have any I don't think I've got much experience with like kind of judging how much the suffering is happening here, and like it's a hospital, it's sick people. These people are clearly sick. Like well, you know, but like, all right, yeah, that makes sense. Like I'm understanding what you're saying. I'm accepting this logical explanation for like these rumors, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Finally, some wheels turn. Shall we?
Oh God, the nonstop shade has been delicious the entire game. Whew, all four of y'all.
You built these characters, Bridget. I just play them.
It doesn't mean you have to play them that well, though. Jesus, I love good people. They make the world go round. All right, so you guys are going to head out from the hospital, and it's only about I'm going to say they probably stuck at maybe half a mile outside of where your camp is. So you guys walk out, the two of you, with a tailor fit mosquito net, and then one that's like misshapen. There's a hole in the back and it's like lopsided. But you guys do make it to the trench, and you can catch that thick stench of just standing waste and standing water. It's almost like Irene Beckett has arrived and suddenly all of your nostrils work again.
Like relative to the wave that we were hit with when we were at the hospital, is this about the same or worse? Like
about 50% less.
50% less. So Irene is right. Is the hospital is the source or the problem, as far as like my calculating like where the problem needs to be addressed.
Nope. Beautiful unpacking. Whoever she is, she's good at her job. But nope. Right. Beautiful unpack there.
Great.
As the two of you approach, you can also hear it's not buzzing as much as it is like this humming or this low droning sound. And Dr. Chase, and actually, Lieutenant Colonel, you've been around the world. You're just like, oh, yep, this is 100% the nest. And as you guys are approaching this particular trench, and you're looking at like, the wheel of something that is just like sunk into the mud, the smell is hitting you, mosquitoes are buzzing about, you're looking at like, broken 2x4s and, burnt rubber. It's just like this was literally like a trash dump. They just threw all their discarded materials into this area. I need both of you to roll me a dex check.
Ooh.
Oh no.
Too many windows open.
I know, it's so many tabs.
I'm not dexterous.
Oh no, you're definitely not. Okay. How did you do over there, Dr. Chase?
I'm good.
So this is just as a total aside, I meant to write this into the intro, but my brain turned off and I forgot. This is Matthew's first time ever playing Call of Cthulhu, ever. He's breaking in Call of Cthulhu live on stream with River Tsavo from Miskatonic May, which I think has just hit all the checkboxes of Super Sixes. I'm here. So yeah, congrats. We're all breaking them in. So you have a couple different options to counter this failure if you would like to, Matt. The one thing you can do is called a push to roll, which is basically you tell me something that you're going to do slightly different, and you get to re-roll that dice again. If you succeed, congratulations. If you fail, I will give you a consequence. That's pretty bad. Chances are in this particular situation, you're going to take additional damage to what's going to be happening. The other option you have is in the middle of your character sheet, you have something called luck. Mm-hmm. You can use luck as a a 1-by-1 trade-off to buy your failure down to a success. So like your dex is a 50. If you wanted to, you could burn 37 luck, 27 luck if you wanted to, and bring it down. Or you could just eat the failure.
Right. So like the first option doesn't really necessarily occur any penalty other than like if you fail a second time, the risk is more. If you fail it, it's risk.
And because I did the whole suspense thing, I called for a dex check without telling you why. Basically, as the two of you are approaching this trench, the ground kind of gives and you're slipping into the trench. The dex was to stop you from falling into this trench. The doctor was able to backpedal out. You're on your way down.
Yeah. With that, I think this is an accept the failure kind of situation. Then, like I think that sounds of all of those options. I think that's what I want to do.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. Dr. Chase, you step back as your left heel gives way and you're able to step back. And the last thing you see as you're regaining your balance is Lieutenant Colonel Patterson attempting to do the same thing, but the ground further eating away behind him and him slipping onto his back, hitting his head on the terrain and literally slipping under not only this standing water, but whatever this debris is, and you just see, his 5 fingers disappear underneath the water. We're skipping. Oh, go
I didn't
ahead.
know it was going to be that bad.
Oh yeah, welcome to Call of Cthulhu, babe. We're happy to have you. Flipping over to Zawadi and Irene Beckett. You guys have finished up with your Kenyan workers, and it looks like they're talking shit to each other, but it looks like they're actually going to go and at least make a good faith effort, as Wadi recommended, to actually get started on the bridge again.
So this way into the Indian section, which is where the numbers have been the highest in the losses. This is one of the tents that has had someone go missing. As I said, I was focusing on getting the numbers as opposed to taking a closer look to where they disappeared this morning. But I hope together we can see more.
So let's take a look, see if we can find any tracks and if there's anything out of the ordinary in the tent. How many people are sharing each tent?
I look to the keeper for that answer.
5 to 10.
5 to 10. So that is why it can be very obvious when they've gone missing if an entire tent has gone missing. Which, and I'll point towards this one has.
Well, that's where we will start then.
And I gestured forward.
There's something that you immediately notice, Swati, when you come into that area. There are a couple stragglers that are still in the tents. Maybe they're ill for some reason or aren't able to go to work, but aren't technically in a poor enough shape to, be admitted to the hospital. But they're standing around a good distance away from these 3-4 tents where some event happened. They won't speak to you. All they'll do is stare at the tent. If you try to engage with them, they either step to the side or they duck their head and they walk away. But there's a haunted, spooky feel about whatever it is you guys are walking into with this small handful of tents. And this is what you guys see. The missing workers resided in a grouping of 5 tents that surrounded a single campfire. So why do you know that's pretty common? You can definitely immediately see that the western facing tent walls, the ones that are facing like the thicket, have peculiar rips and tears through the canvas fabric. It looks like, from what you can both immediately tell, that several sharp objects were thrown with incredible force from the exterior of these tents onto the inside. As you guys look around, there are a few blood droplets that can be seen like spattered all over the floors and the inside of the tents. But it's strange. You can see, especially you. I'm not even going to make you roll for this. This is obvious. This just happened last night. Irene Beckett, you can see 2 sets of paw prints moving around these 5 tents and into the thicket. There's something weird about these particular paw prints. They're lion-sized. Given the depression into the ground, they're the appropriate weight category that you would think for a lion, but there's not 4, there's 5. There's 5 prints per lion. It almost looks, from what you can tell, that the lions, both of them, may have 3 front paws and 2 back ones. Yeah, that's disconcerting, but I mean, you've seen monstrosities and anomalies in nature, but this is still kind of disconcerting. But what gets both of you as you are looking through these tents are the quills. There are black quills littered all through the tents. It's stuck into the fabric. They're onto the floor. They're pierced into the ground at these angles. They're completely black. They're about 2, maybe 3 feet in length, and they look just like porcupine quills. And they're scattered everywhere, but there's no way, looking at the size of this thing, that it could have come from a normal porcupine.
I will crouch down to take a closer look at what I thought were lion prints up until now, but now feel the pressing need to get a better look at.
Please roll me a track or a survival, dealer's choice.
Okay, I've got the same skill in both.
Okay.
And that is a failure.
Okay. Leave it, buy it, push it.
I'm going to leave it.
Okay. Irene, you're looking at these tracks and something's really wrong here. Even with the failure, just with your skill being as high as it is, the movement of these lions feels intelligent to you in a level that doesn't make sense for a lion. You can see how the two of them came in. You can see where one stood guard while another one pranced around this tent. It didn't wake anyone. You can't get that third paw out of your head. That doesn't make any sense that two different lions would have an additional third appendage on their front. And you're just kind of there, dumbfounded as to what it is your mind is trying to comprehend. Zawadi?
I'm thinking this is the first time I've seen location to this degree.
Yeah, this is definitely new. Something is escalating.
So I'm very much looking at these quills and, kind of matching up their trajectory to the holes in the sides.
Yeah.
So, and at this point, then taking out a handkerchief and picking one of the quills up.
Oh, I love this. Please roll me either a spot hidden, a survival, or a natural world, dealer's choice.
Let's see here. My spot hidden's at 50. Natural world I don't have. What was the third one?
Survival.
Survival. Yeah, it's going to be a spot hidden.
I love it.
That's a 55. My spot hidden's a 50.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and push the roll.
Ooh, okay. I like it. Here is your push consequence on the front end. If you push this roll and fail, there is a particular property that comes with this quill that I'm going to inflict onto you.
It's part of the game.
It's part of the game.
4.
Tell me to go to hell. Okay.
Luck of the dice.
Woo! You are fiddling with this quill, Zawadi. You have it in the handkerchief and you're turning it and it spins ever so slightly out of the handkerchief and starts pointing downwards and it's getting ready to, like, instinctively you just go to reach out to grab it because that's what you do to things that drop out of your hand. But you remember at the last minute, it's like, maybe I shouldn't touch this thing, and you're able to recapture it. Here's what you're able to see with fucking an extreme success on this one. The piercing edge of this quill is extremely sharp. It is leaking some type of unknown, thick, mucousy black fluid. It's almost dripping out of it. On the back end of this quill, you can see a tiny piece of flesh and black hair, almost as if this thing were detached from something that was living. There's no animal of this size that you can even possibly fathom that would have quills of this length. Whatever it is starting, that liquid at the edge is starting to stain onto the inside of your handkerchief. It has a scent to it smells like clove almost, which is really interesting. I'm giving you extra shit because you hit a 4. There are additional tests that could be run on this type of substance that you think Dr. Chase could run. You would just need to connect with her to actually get whatever the substance is under a microscope.
So I will gather up a larger piece of cloth and I will gather multiple quills together and wrap them in the cloth so that I can take them out safely to Dr. Chase.
I love it.
And once I've done that, then I shall go outside and find Miss Beckett. And I said, you should see I think you should take a closer look at these, and I'll show the quills to them.
Yeah, I'll take a look, and I'll just glance around, make sure that there's none of the workers listening, and just say, porcupines don't get this big around here, do they?
What's a porcupine?
Oh, well, that answers that question. Yes, they're a creature we have in America. They have these large quills, but not this large. You certainly don't get them on lions. Then again, you generally only get 4 legs on a lion.
I'll look down at the prints and like, oh, that makes more sense now.
You guys are both looking down at the prints. Can I get a track from both of you?
Let's see. I'm at 10% on that because I don't have it.
I mean, you be out here rolling fours, though. Jesus.
Yeah, I'm not going to spend those luck points on that. Oh, well, no, that's my sanity. No, I'm not going to spend the luck. I'll stick with the 17.
Okay.
I will take that hard success.
Take that hard success to the bank, Irene. So, Irene, you can't make heads or tail of what's exactly happening with the lion tracks, but there is something that after Zawadi has, brought your attention inside the tent and out, you are looking at the human tracks that were left just last night. And there's a math here that is absolutely fascinating and astounding to you, possibly. It appears from what you can tell that these quills, as you're reconfiguring this anomaly of a situation, these quills were shot through the exterior of the tents at rapid speed. Given the blood droplets on the ground, several individuals had to have been impaled, pierced, hit with these quills. But from the 5 tents, it appears that 30 workers all rose to their feet, exited out of the tent, and in a perfect single file line followed the lions into the thicket. After you see the footprints leaving these tents, they all come into it is 40 inches chest to back, perfect line where they're stepping in each other's footsteps and their footprints heading into the thickets following the lions.
I can see where our missing people have headed off to. Can't think why. But then nothing about this is making any sense at the moment. Do you have any thoughts, or are we going to have to assume that our Kenyan friends are correct and there are some kind of evil spirits in the camp?
So that we will look over at her with a continuing appraising look is the fact that the Colonel and Miss Chase would not believe that. But you seem to understand.
One does occasionally see unusual things when hunting, but never quite this bizarre.
We have many tales that are just as, you would say, bizarre, even from my village.
I think at some point we will have to follow these tracks.
Agreed.
Preferably with some company. I don't think this is a job for 2 of us.
Agreed. Shall we see back to the Colonel and Miss Dr. Chase?
Yes, let's see if they've dealt with their mosquito problem. I can't stand mosquitoes. You can't shoot a mosquito.
Agreed.
the two of you leave this area that just feels icy and chill despite the oppressive heat. And you are heading back further into camp. You're heading towards the hospital where you are assuming the doctor would have gone, or actually, now assuming she said she was heading that direction. And both of you look up and you can see somebody running towards you. This is a Kenyan worker that's running from the railway station up to you guys. And he's flagging you down with a hand. He's panting, and he comes up to you, Zawadi, and he looks to you and he smiles and he says to you, Irene Beckett, in Swahili, "Good morning." Oh, wow. Apparently word is out that the white girl speaks Swahili and that she's liked among the Kenyans. Congrats. And he looks to you, Zawadi. He says, there's a man and a woman, a slave, that is looking for the lieutenant colonel. I don't know where they are. Do you want to go and talk to him? Shit. If we were playing bingo, I would have had somebody's on mute.
There you did. I think that's a bingo moment for everyone.
That's a bingo moment for somebody.
I shall turn to Miss Beckett and hand the bundle of quills to them. I will meet you at the hospital. Let me see to this while the colonel is away.
Yes, of course.
And you two further split.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Swati, you're heading towards... It's so good. This is a great time to introduce the lions. Okay, so Swati, you're heading towards the railway station. Mm-hmm. You're following this Kenyan that has come to collect you. Irene Beckett, you have the quills in hand, wrapped up where nothing can stab you, poke you, penetrate you. And you're moving towards the hospital to get these over to Dr. Chase. And there's a whisper that settles onto the base of your subconscious. There's something on the wind. There's something in the air. There is something that raises your hackles just slightly. There's something teasing at a memory that is full of grief for you, a memory that is full of shame. And you just can't help it. You look over your shoulder to where Zwadi is running with this Kenyan, or moving with this Kenyan towards the railway station. And you see the silhouette of an African woman that you know for a fact died 10 years ago because she took a bullet, one of your bullets, to the chest. I'm going to skip over right now to Patterson and Dr. Chase. Dr. Chase, Patterson has slipped beneath the surface of the water. Lieutenant Colonel John Patterson. Putrid water is always bad to inhale. It's painful to get up your nostrils. It is a burning sensation that cuts into your eyes and your ears. And whatever you're swallowing that has texture, you just hope and pray it's not mosquito eggs, but it might be, and everything is wrong. You are going to wind up taking...
really be the least worst option in this context. In this context, you're going to take 2 points of damage from that thunk on your head, and whatever you bumped on your way underneath the water, which isn't terrible. Could have been worse. Yeah.
I'm all right. So I watched the hand go under, like fully submerged. This is deep enough. Okay. Oh, I look good. I'm going to look for a stick, like a very long stick, and as if I were trying to get someone out of quicksand, I'm gonna like try and shove this down into this trench, not aggressively because I don't want to stab this poor man who is gonna look a fright when he comes up. But like I'll swish it around and try and like hold purchase on a human.
Yeah. Am I knocked unconscious, or did I just fall in the water?
No, that bump on your head turned your lights off for all about 20 seconds, but you're back online now. You came back online under the water. It was brief.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is, yeah, I mean, I think I'm gonna be initially rather surprised because I don't really think, I mean, we could get some engineering knowledge in here, but this isn't like this isn't like an earthquake, right? You didn't describe it like it was an earthquake. This is like land slippage from water leakage or something. Like this was
either soft earth or user error.
Yeah, something happened. I think very surprised to find myself under the water now. So yeah, I think it's I'm trying to flail around, basically get out of this water, get to the surface, get yeah. So that is obviously the number one goal is to get out of here.
You flail.
So I don't know if I can just say I swim up, or do I need to roll? Is there like some force holding me back, or did I just fall in a cesspit? Like,
ooh, so many different options. Can I say again, welcome to Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah.
You're kicking and you're thrashing. You're back online, and you're able to start kicking yourself up a bit. Your foot catches on something, whatever it is. You can feel the cargo of your pants tear. God knows what the hell that was. You can feel yourself bleeding. You can feel something opening up on your leg. But as of right now, you can deal with that laceration later because you're getting ready to drown. And you're thrashing. You're moving, and you're kicking yourself up. That foot is still caught on something. You jerk free, and then there's something that is protruding into the water. It looks like a 2x4 or a long piece of wood, but the way that it's moving feels like it's intentional. You're able to at least grab onto that.
Great. I'm gonna grab on for purchase.
Yeah.
You know, any friend in a dire situation is a friend indeed.
Is a friend indeed. And Dr. Chase, you've got him.
Yeah, I will pull as I am petite, but I will do my best to help this man back up.
When he breaks the surface of the water, you don't want to think about what's dripping out of his mouth. Actually, you don't want to think about this particular moment ever again in your life, Dr. Chase. You're a doctor, but still, a mouthful of larvae is still not a great look for anybody. There is debris and junk all over the good Lieutenant Colonel, but he's above the water line. He's out.
Aren't you so glad that we did this reconnaissance?
Yes. Good Lord, this place is awful. Truly a source of pestilence. I'm trying to scoot myself up the side of this, like, I mean, if it's got these land slippages going on, I mean, it can't be. I don't imagine that it's very stable.
You can shoulder yourself out.
Right. So I imagine it's sort of like that almost, 45 degree that loose soil forms. And so like, I'm trying to back up out of here. Shaking, spitting out whatever I still feel in my mouth. This is, I've probably lost my hat, my nice little peaked cap. It's probably gone.
Not the hat.
I mean, it's the least of my worries. But I also want to survey this sort of this seems like an aberration to me. Like, not only have I never been over to the trash area, but as you've described, it doesn't really match with how I imagine a situation. I mean, even by a riverbank, this seems like shouldn't this water be flowing somewhere else? There's a lot of trash here. I mean, is it really? Does a military, does a work camp really produce this much trash? These are all things that I'm having to confront for the first time. And so I want to kind of start to assess what is here. Is it just look like refuse and gross water? Is there a lot of biological stuff? I mean, you said there's the bugs and everything, but is is it an aberration, right? Is this a swamp that has been filled with trash, or is this like the water shouldn't be here? I don't know
I'm with you.
what I
No, I
need to
love
roll
it.
to like make that difference, but like, yeah, this is, I want to assess what is
What am
here now
I
that
looking at?
yeah.
No, Lieutenant Colonel John Patterson, your brain is back online right now. You're trying to process like, how the fuck did this happen? Like, really, what am I
Right.
looking at right now? And it, as your engineering mind comes back online, as you're getting the rest of whatever this is off of your face and your mouth, you just think about it. It's like, you know what? If 3 months ago they dug a trench to throw refuge in, and they just never sealed it. They never closed it. They never put it in with mud. They never sealed it with concrete. They didn't do anything with it. Rain over time would pool here and produce these type of conditions. There's nothing supernatural happening here. This is negligence.
It's negligence. All right. Well, that's not that reflects poorly on me and my organization of this camp. So like, this is I don't know if I think I'm going to be thinking about that as I get up and I continue to kind of like, I don't know, shake. I imagine I got to like take my boots off and like pour out the gross water, shake them out. Like, I'm like trying to like flip out the, it's not like I'm wearing coattails or anything like that, but I got a jacket that's got like, trying to brush it off.
Yeah.
And just not like cursing. Like, I think I'm almost like mumbling under my breath the whole time. Like, this is unacceptable. This is terrible. Like, what were they thinking? And like, I'm kind of like, once I get myself, I think I'm going to catch myself after a minute and sort of be like, thank you, doctor, for your assistance. And then I'm going to put my boots on, and then I'm going to kind of like start to look at like how we can drain this, because this water needs to go away. Like, this is what the doctor said this morning, is that there's going to be a gross pool somewhere. And like, is there diversion? Can we divert put in some sort of like channel that's going to divert the water out of here so that we'll still have a big pile of refuse, but at least it won't be also wet? Like, where is the land? What is it? There's some engineering that we can do to make this less horrible than it is. If
And
nothing
that's
else,
exactly
we can
what I need from
fill
you.
it with fill it in something, like eliminate the water. There's something we can do. So like, I'm starting to take inventory of like the work that will be involved in whatever needs to eliminate this problem, because now that I've experienced it up close and personal, it is a problem I'm going to prioritize solving.
Roll me your science engineering, please.
Oh yeah.
He's like, oh yeah. Now we're
Right,
cooking
something
with
that I
grease.
got plenty of training in.
Plenty of training in it.
I could still roll high though.
You could, but
All right. I think that's under my stuff.
It is. Your engineering's a 70 and you got a 41.
Yeah.
That is success. Lieutenant Colonel John Patterson, you're looking at this situation, your analytical mind kicks over and you're like, you know what? If I pulled 8 guys off the bridge, I could have this resolved tonight.
That sounds like a extremely acceptable redistribution of work, to like well within my my purview and the needs of the project to get this eliminated. This is absolutely. And I will, Doctor, you have made your point quite clearly with this little tour. I will take care of this problem post haste. And like, I don't have anything else. I don't know. Like, there's nothing else that I have to say about it. I'm kind of like, almost like, shall we return? Like, I'll be on it immediately. Like, I'm like thinking like about face and walk away from this situation. Like,
So you're convinced then that this is the location?
this is a problem for certain, ma'am.
All right. And your solution is to get 8 people. Do you know the resources that'll take? Are you going to supply the mosquito nets for all of them? How? I mean, we probably have what we need. That's not my point. I guess my point is, I wish it were always this convenient to get the resources that I need for my. You know what? You're wet. I'm sorry, Lieutenant. Um, can I search him? You mentioned that there's like rips in the mosquito netting. There's
Yeah.
nothing that's like gotten into him in way of like lacerations, mosquitoes that could have gotten through.
He has a laceration on the inside of his left leg. Looks like something scraped him on the way up, but that's just called let's clean it out. It's not even going to need stitches. It's not even really going to need anything more than some topical.
Great. Then I will leave him alone with his embarrassment, and I will let him either lead us or stay further. This all seems very normal to me, right? Like there's nothing
Yeah, you're
from
like,
like
okay.
an ecological standpoint that makes this seem like
Nope. This is negligence.
mosquitoes don't have quills. Yeah, okay.
Yep, nope, this is just workplace negligence right now.
Great.
But Lieutenant Colonel John Patterson, if you do pull 8 people off of the bridge to solve this, they can fill it in. And you guys will both get a bonus die to use at any point that you would like during the duration of the scenario.
Can I just clarify? So we get the bonus die for what we're actually involved in, right? We don't get the one.
Correct.
So we don't have 2 in the bag. Okay, great.
Yep, so everyone should just have 1 at this point. So it's whatever scene you're directly remedying at the moment. So we got break in 15. I think this will be good. So Lieutenant John Colonel Patterson and Dr. Chase, you guys are heading back to camp. And just because it's neat and easy for me, I'm going to bring all of you guys back together except for Zawadi, who is at the railway station or approaching the railway station. Let's focus in for just a second here on Irene Beckett. We left you on a bit of a cliffhanger right now, looking at the silhouette of this girl as she moves out of your view. That's cut off by the side of the railway station, and you have a wet Lieutenant Patterson coming at you, and Dr. Chase, and you're holding a handful of quills. Let's focus on you for a little bit here. What are you doing in this moment?
As I'm looking at that horribly familiar silhouette, I'll just be standing motionless with a lump in my throat. And as I gradually become aware I'm not alone, my first thought is, I need a drink. And then wondering if maybe the hospital might have such a thing. I'll look down at the bundle in my arms, take a deep breath, remember that I'm here for a reason. And then I'll look over at the Lieutenant Colonel and say, how's it going? You look a bit wet.
We just had a little Dr. Chase has convinced me that the problem with the mosquitoes is can be located, and I'm on my way to solve it. What have you there? Noticing the bundle of quills, which I assume is you're carrying still, right?
Yeah. Something rather odd we found in the tents. Is Dr. Chase around?
I assume I'll assume she's just behind.
Yep, she's catching up now.
Hello.
Yeah, Dr. Chase. Good work on convincing the Lieutenant Colonel about the stagnant pool.
Oh, is that what he said happened? I had to say very little, as it turns out. I will cross over and grab like they're not uniforms. Like patient garb. And I will hand them to Patterson, and I know they're not regulation for your stature, but they are dry.
Oh. No need. I'll be off to my my tent shortly. This is I won't be staying here. And I'll direct again the attention to Miss Beckett has found something.
Yes, Dr. Chase, could you assist me with this? I'm not quite sure what is dripping off these things. It smells of cloves.
Dripping cloves. All right. I will. Um, you found these.
In the tent of the missing people. I suspect it's something unhealthy.
Mm.
All right.
I'm
Well,
going to nod at that and be like, I'll want to know more in a minute, ladies. And then I'm marching on to get some workers to solve this problem, and I'm out.
he's had a little bit of a day. But you found this, so let's. And I will. You were smart not to touch them. If they're. You said leaking.
Yeah, something dripping off the ends. I
All
thought at
right.
first there were porcupine quills, but apparently you don't have porcupines over here.
No. No. That would be fun, but alas, just lions and mosquitoes and who knows what else. I will. So it's leaking. Like, is there a lot of liquid coming out of these? Is there like,
It's like a seep.
okay,
You recognize these
and
type of poisonous situations.
and this is so the smell is of clove. Is it
Yeah.
similar to anything like? I guess I'll undo my handkerchief. This is not like the death smell. This
No.
is not like okay,
This is nothing
great.
from the
This is not.
trenches. This is new. This what
This is new.
whatever is secreting from these quills has it's almost refreshing in a way. Has a clove scent.
Just looking at it, do I know what this is?
Porcupine quill feels right, but what this substance is, no, you would need to get it under a microscope. You might be able to identify the properties a little bit better there.
Sure. I will try to do that. Not touching anything. I will pick up like a little petri dish or whatever I have that resembles that, a slide or whatever, and I will try and wait for like collect some of this seepage and I will look and see what I can find.
Okay. So I just want to make sure I have total clarity. I have Zwadi probably at the platform at this point. I've got Dr. Chase and Irene Beckett in the hospital. Irene looking for a drink, and also kind of waiting for the results of what Dr. Chase is looking for underneath. Oh God, allergies kicked in. What's it called?
Microscope.
Thank you. Look at God. Thank you so much. And then I have Lieutenant Colonel John Patterson, who is off to change clothes back in his tent. Correct?
I think I have to go change clothes before I go interact with the workers, just
Okay.
for levels of decorum. Yes.
I'm going to challenge your decorum right now. So as you are making a beeline towards your tent, one of the older Hindi workers walks up to you. This is actually Arjun. He is your camp foreman. He's actually one of the PCs that just wasn't chosen by you guys. He comes up to you and he looks very solemn. He looks over your current condition and that doesn't faze him at all. But Arjun's always been a very stoic man. And he looks to you and he says, you should get to the railway station as quickly as possible. There's a white man there who has brought a slave onto this territory. The Kenyans are not going to like it. It's going to escalate quickly. You should probably get to the railway station now. And then really fast, this is something that everyone knows. Slavery at this point in time has been abolished in the United States. Britain's current views on slavery are repulsive and it's something they won't tolerate. So this area is technically British territory. The investigators have the right to confiscate and free any slave that is currently on this particular construction site. Off of the construction site, there's not shit y'all can do. Arab caravans of slaves move back and forth every day. You see it every day. But here, you have every right to be like, what you're not going to do is here. This is what Arjun is telling you right now.
Yeah. I think I think I take a moment and do some like more mental calculus, I think that even only increases the need for me to not look like I just took a bath in a bunch of mosquitoes. If I have to go deal with that kind of a situation, I need to be the full force of like the British Empire who says that's not going to fly here, and that I can't accomplish that in my current state. So I need to go take a little bit of time.
Okay.
And I will uh, I'll tell Arjun to thank you. Uh, keep him at the station as long as you can, and I'll be there directly.
I
You know,
understand.
and then he'll maybe start to leave, and then I will call him back, and I'll tell him to go get 8 workers and get rid of that that ditch problem. Reassign, a team of 8 workers from the second span, reassign them to go to the refuse trench and drain it, make sure it's drained, put a channel in to prevent collection of the rainwater there.
I understand. I'll
if
take
you
care of
need-
it now.
Good. And I'll give him I'll say thank you in Hindi to him, and then I'm going to try again to get to my quarters and get out of this stinking uniform.
Yep.
Um,
You get to your quarters and you are getting changed. Dr. Chase, roll me a medicine, please.
All right, I can do that.
Jesus.
Oh, that's very good. You said medicine.
Yeah.
Is that intelligence or that's its own thing?
Yeah,
That is
it's its
a
own skill.
hard. That's an extreme success.
That is an extreme success. Well done, baby. Here's what you are very quickly able to ascertain. I'll speed up your timeline because you hit an extreme success when you're looking at this. I know it. I just want to read it. I know it. I just want to read it. Where to go? Okay. Well done, babe. From what you can tell, looking at this serum is what we're calling it. Based on the properties, extreme success, I'm just going to read it to you. That the fluid is a highly advanced serum that causes hallucinations, frightening images, and a total lack of free will. A hard or extreme success on any of these checks will inform the investigator that once injected with this serum, the victim has between 2 to 5 minutes before falling prey to its effects. And you remember this much, Dr. Chase. A few months ago, in South America, a similar compound was discovered. A group of miners became infected by an unknown source and began to walk off into the mines, never to be seen again. They started calling this compound the devil's breath. It was widely regarded as speculation and rumors, but you saw the report that came through, and you know that you're looking at this exact same substance here. Hopping down immediately over to Irene Beckett. Irene, you're able to find some booze somewhere in the hospital. Adi will find you something.
If I notice that you're looking for alcohol, I'll go back to my drawer and I'll grab some brandy from there.
Brandy,
And I'll pour
yes.
each of us a glass. What I have is better than what he does. Trust me.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Chase.
Not a problem. Us ladies should be more kind than I've been to you to this point.
Oh, nice.
It has been a difficult morning.
I can understand. I hope your journey was more pleasant than the day has been, at least getting here. I will share what I know about this serum. Can I ask a clarifying question? Is it a on contact, or does it have to like puncture? Like, does it have to be ingested or
It has to hit the
tabbed
bloodstream.
into? Okay, great. Do I have an idea that I can weaponize it in some way?
Looks like someone else has already weaponized it.
Okay. And I don't know what the free will loss does, or does the inflictor get to decide? It does whatever it wants to do.
No, the inflictor gets to decide. So whatever is mobilizing these quills, whatever these quills are attached to, are the ones that are giving marching orders.
So I would not, if I stab someone with it, then get to
Correct.
control. Okay, great. Cool. I'm going to find a scalpel and I'm going to coat it in this serum.
Okay.
And then I'm just going to keep that on me.
Okay.
So I see that I have in my weapon section two scalpel or a scalpel. Can I
Mhm.
now have two, one that is dipped and one that is not? Cool.
You can have
Cool,
all
cool.
the scalpels in the world, boo. I got you. Because I can't wait to see where this one goes.
I just want how fun to see what that can be. Chaos. Um, great. Well, I think we've learned everything that we can. This is very I'm tempted to. You said these are 2 feet long. I can't fit them in my drawer, my locked
Yeah, 2 to
drawer.
3 feet long. Whatever they came off of is big.
I imagine there's like a medicine cabinet, like a larger kind of wardrobe thing in here.
For sure. That you could stack them in. Yeah.
I would like to. I just don't want the wrong people to have access to this. Less learned minds might do terrible things. Um, so I will lock them in that cabinet. And while I'm in there, are there any supplies that I know of that could counteract this?
Oh, here at this site? No. No. You're running
No,
low
of
on
course
band-aids
not.
right now.
How fun. Okay. I will are there any other medical supplies that like Bridget, this is the time for me to grab anything that might be useful to
You
us
want to grab
later.
that's anything that's useful. Listen, I'm here for it. Yeah, so you don't have a whole lot. It's something that you've been barking at, Lieutenant Colonel John Patterson and the committee for. I mean, you have the bare necessities to what you need to perform an amputation in a clutch. Everything else is dry or running low right now. This isn't a well-stocked hospital. I mean, hell, just early this morning, you realize that you can't even stand to be inside of this hospital right now because of the smell. Even antiseptics are low at this point.
Yes. All right. All right. Well, mentioning the smell again, I will reapply that perfume to my mask and I will make another one for Irene, if she would like. Um, this smells much better than, you know, the death that you pointed out earlier this morning. I don't mean to be rude, but where did everyone else go? The lieutenant had to leave to change. I understand that, but you were with Zwadi earlier.
Yes, he's dealing with a situation at the railway station.
And speaking of the situation at the railway station, Swati, you are able to climb the stairs to the railway platform that, overlooks 3 sets of tracks that your people laid. And standing there, you see, I'm teeing up the handout for Stanley Wash and Karubu in kind. You see Stanley Wash, which is a white man with an amazing mustache, who is pacing pompously on the balcony with this ostentatious aura of dignity and self-importance. He is walking with a cane that is obviously there for more cosmetic purposes than it is for him, for any type of actual aid. And he's walking back and forth with just this aura that is dripping with, I can't believe someone is making me wait. And standing not far from him, I am teeing up the handout for Karubo. Standing not far from Wash's pacing circle is Karubo, that you immediately recognize the Wadi, that is in the active throes of slavery. Not only from how docile, defeated, and broken her demeanor is, the fact that she can't make eye contact, the fact that her shoulders are come through, the welts that you see on her face, but also she's actively wearing a slave collar right now. She's looking at the ground. She is watching the ankles of Stanley Wash as he moves back and forth, almost like she's waiting for a command to be given for her to react to something. But as of right now, the only thing that she can do is watch his feet go back and forth. And he turns and he looks to you as you climb up the pedestal, the stairs to go onto the platform. And he looks to you. He looks at your uniform. He scoffs and he continues pacing.
I will straighten my uniform, look over at Karubo, and then stride forward. Good day, sir. Welcome to our camp. How can I be of assistance to you?
Yes. Good day. He looks to you again, would prefer to wait for someone of authority. You could go find him, yes?
They are away on another matter of camp business.
I am here on something of great importance, I should say. I've made a discovery. I would like it evaluated by your doctor. I'm sure he's a capable man. And I would like to speak to someone in charge. That's not you.
We will fetch them, and I'm sure the doctor will be more than happy to examine your find. She's very competent.
My apologies. You said she?
Yes, sir. She's very competent.
You can see the twitch, and you can see like the stretches of his eyes just tighten for a moment. Because the two things he's really not in the mood today to deal with is one, a female doctor, and then two, a black person in authority talking to him. But he doesn't have a whole lot of choices right now. He says, quite. Well, you are the only camp that is within 50 miles. So I suppose, who is in charge of this installation?
That would be Lieutenant Colonel John Patterson. I'm sure he will be returning shortly. He was seeing to a very important matter for the well-being of the camp, so that we can continue to be the only camp in 50 miles to be able to serve you.
Shade. Yes. He nods. He says, very well. Then I suppose we shall wait.
Would you like to wait here, or would you like to come to the camp and offer refreshments?
He looks to the camp, and you can just see him looking at the dirt and the labor and the singing and the voices in different languages. And he just looks appalled, as if that's an option you would even roll out to him. He says, we'll stay here.
Very good, sir. I will see that some refreshment is brought to you.
Very good.
And I will turn away, but sweeping across Grubo, and then step away, heading towards making arrangements for some sort of refreshments and to get to the colonel as quickly as I can.
Okay. And that, guys, I think is where we're going to stop and take our 15-minute break. 10, what do you guys want to do, Cass? Look at me. 10, 15, preferences?
10 to 15 is good with me. 10 is good with me. 10,
you guys want to do 3:15 return?
10
I see thumbs up. I see thumbs up. Matt, you good with that too? Well, you're on mute, so I'm going to assume you're good with it.
Bingo!
Yeah!
I'm good.
Friends of the Symphony, we are going to go take a quick 10-minute break. I will put the timer up. I'm going to throw us onto a whole screen. Hopefully you don't hear us. Allegedly you shouldn't. That might be fixed. That might not be. And then we are going to return with the finale of Sorrow and Tsavo. Love your faces. We will catch you guys back in another 10 minutes. Mwah!